Eric Axelrod with Max MRR here today. I'm here to give you a video on Flexi CRM at flexi.io, and today's tutorial is about how to define custom fields on your entities. The reason why we would want to do this is if we want to capture a custom attribute. So for example, a UTM parameter that you would put on a link. For example, if you would want to segment your incoming leads based upon whether they came from a pop-up or whether they came from a lead form or a webinar registration or anything like that. So that is exactly what we're going to dive into, and we actually already have some of those things set up right now in our environment. So as you can see on my screen, this is the Flexi Homepage for one of our environments, and this is what you see when you log in for the very first time. As you can see, I've got a meeting on here, I've got some converted leads over the last couple of days, and some of these other things we're not using in this environment. So what I am going to do is I am going to go into leads, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we have. So if we go over to our leads, this is in our existing environment, we have some custom fields after this finishes loading. And here are some leads that we actually have in here. So what I can do is I can click on any one of these, and we can actually see there are some things that we added. So we added we have some other custom fields in here, but namely I'm going to dive into one of these records. What we have here is if I scroll down on this person's record, we can see, namely, we created some custom fields that we have categorized as attribution. So these attribution fields, these are not natively in Flexi Lead. So this is something that we created. And there are a few additional ones. For example, we created a thing called test mode. We created a thing called campaign name and campaign name detail, IP address. None of these things exist, age, range, gender. These don't exist natively on the leads records, but here they are inside of leads. So, and as you can see here, this is an actual record that we got in for an affiliate. And this is, as you can see, the UTM content. So this was the actual tag coming in from Facebook, says that it's massage. The UTM campaign, this is the name of the Facebook ad, and then the UTM medium, this says Facebook mobile feed. If this were desktop, it would say desktop feed, and then of course the source says Facebook, so we can segment Facebook and Instagram and all the other sources that are available. So, but the point is, these are just custom fields. So I'm going to show you where to go to actually create these. So what you do is inside of your Flexi control panel, instead of going to any of these items on the left, you're going to go over here and you're going to click on the gear in the upper right next to your name. So you click on the gear, and we're going to go down here, and we are going to go to custom fields. So we're going to click on that, and then every single entity inside of Flexi is going to appear here. This means the built-in ones like deals, leads, contacts, accounts, and cases, those are built in. And all of the custom entities that you have defined inside of your environment, those are going to be here as well. You can create custom fields in any of them. So right now I'm going to go into leads because that is what we're going to demonstrate. But it's the same process for pretty much any of them. So going into leads right now. So these are all of the fields that are currently in existence in leads. And all of these, all of the ones here that have a green toggle, these are ones that we have created. If it doesn't have the green toggle on it, these are all built in. So title, first name, last name, email, company, address, all of those come out of the box, and you can't really change those. But the ones that you can do, is any of these ones that we created. And I'm going to show you one of the ones that's already here so you can kind of see what some of these properties are. And I will go ahead, because we just looked at that, I'm going to show you the UTM parameters. So I'm just going to go ahead and over to page 2 because we actually have quite a few of them. So here's UTM source. And this would have been the one that said, okay, is it Facebook or Instagram? So I'm going to click on UTM source here, and I'm going to say edit. And we'll see what properties are available to us. And this one is actually really, really simple. So the only things that we can do here is we can change the label, and this is the way that it shows up in the list. We cannot change its alias because this has already been created, and so this is actually its unique identifier inside of the system. We can change its category, and so I call these attribution. These are just kind of there for logical grouping, so you can decide how to segment those fields that are available, and then we can also set a default value for something that's already here. As you can see, there's also a type. We cannot change that because this has already been created. The other properties that we can change is it sortable? Is it required? All of these things I'll get into here in just a minute. So I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to show you what we can do here for the types and also for the alias. And as you can see, the alias that we were just looking at, this guy right here, this is its unique name. You cannot change it once it's been created. If you wanted to change it, you would actually have to delete this and then create a new one. But this is its unique ID throughout the entire system. So once it's been created, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do here is inside of custom fields, I'm going to click on this new checkbox in the upper right corner, this new button. And this is going to bring up basically that same dialog. And in the example that I was going to go over, so let's say that we have that we're trying to track affiliates, and so I am going to put a field in here. Let's call it affiliate name, and the label is how it's going to show up inside of the system, and then this is going to be its unique ID. You don't have to type anything in here, but I like to do that to keep things clean, so I can kind of publish them the way that you want to. I'll call it affiliate underscore name. And on the category, if I wanted to make a new category, I would probably put this under attribution, because this tells us, where did this lead come from? Did they come from a Facebook campaign, or did they come from a bunch of properties on a link, or did they come from an affiliate? So I'm going to put this under attribution because that makes sense to me. And these are all of the options that are available to you for how you want to define your fields. And so some of these things are pretty self-explanatory. So namely, string is very self-explanatory. This is just a text field. There's no rules or constraints that you would put on that. We also have numbers, and if we define numbers, you're going to define, so this is going to be a numeric value, not like a phone number. This would be like if you wanted to put annual revenue in a field. So we would make that a number, and that's just going to be a big long decimal value, and you can control how you want it to round. Also over here, we can do multi-selects. If we wanted to predefine a bunch of things that were available in the list, we can actually list our options out here. This is also a good thing to do if we wanted to do basically a text field, but make it so it was a little bit more constrained. And we can actually set our properties here. We can say what's going to be available. So if I was going to do affiliates, I'm going to say, maybe an affiliate is Bob, and then another affiliate is going to be Rob, right? And then so now I have two options in my options list. And if I wanted to make more values available, I have to go in here and I actually have to create those. So you can do a multi-select. We can also do phone numbers. We can do email addresses. And if you do that, those actually enforce formatting rules for phone numbers and email addresses. And so if something isn't correct, it won't let you save it. You can also create select lists, and so this is just like a multi-select, except this is if you only want to be able to pick one value. You would put this here, but it's going to work just the same way. I'm going to say Bob, or I'm going to say Rob, and then you're going to be able to select one of these two things. We can also do URLs, we can do times, and there are some other interesting features that I'm not going to cover right now, like photo galleries. We also have areas, which is actually to do with geomapping and things like that, dates and times, and all of those things. Another really interesting thing that we can do that I'm not going to cover right now is the ability to cross entities. And so if we actually have, and we are doing this here, if we actually have a custom entity that's linked to this entity, like for example, if we were going to build an affiliate table that was going to hang off of our leads table, which we're actually doing in this environment, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. This is exactly how we would do that. And so this shows you whenever you do one of these selects, we're saying, okay, we're going to go get something from one of these other entities, and then we're going to map it to this. So, but to keep this easy, I think what makes sense to me as an affiliate is rather than doing text, which we can do, or, a string, which we can do, is I'm just going to go ahead and do a single select like we just did. And so rather than multi-select, I'm going to make select, and then I'm going to say Bob and Rob are our options. There's going to be no default value because I don't know where this person came in from. And then I'm going to pick a couple of these other options over here. And so these are important. A number of these are pretty important. One of them, for one, is unique identifier. This is not something that we're going to set here, but if we were creating a custom entity, for example, and you wanted to make sure that you only had one row per person or one row per email, I would set the email to be the unique identifier. So that way, if you get another email come in with the same record, or with another record come in with the same email, you can't have that record in there twice. So, then you'll have to choose what to do. Do you discard the new one, or do you update it, or whatever? But so that's what that is. Is default on grid, that only shows, so whenever you actually go over here, and I'm going to open up a new window, this shows whenever you actually go over here and you're looking at your list. You're looking at your list of leads or customers or whatever it is. Next option here is locked, and it's going to tell you it's locked until editable permission is given. So that's going to lock your data down. And so if that's something that you don't want people to be able to change, that's what you'll do. Available to smart list. That's something that I would always recommend leaving on. And so this is going to be, if you do create a Flexi smart list, you'll be able to use this particular field to filter on. The is hidden. This is going to be something, again, most likely you're going to say no on this, but there might be some instances where you want that to be invisible from most users. But we're going to leave that off for the most part. I don't think we're using that anywhere. Required is also going to be important, and you need to think about this whenever you're creating these custom fields, because if you say that this is required, this will actually reject this record whenever you were to insert it if you don't give it. So like in this example with affiliate name, if I didn't put an affiliate on here and I tried to create a lead, it will not let you do it. That's by design. So you really need to think about this. Are you going to require these fields or not? And so if this is something that you're going to look at and say, yeah, this really should be optional. We don't have to have an affiliate. Well, you should probably make that not required so it doesn't kick those rows out whenever you try to insert them. A couple of these other ones, and I'm gonna go back over this page here. So the is default on grid. Our page is loaded. So here are all of our leads. So this is the grid. This is all of the leads that we have in here right now, and saying if it's default on grid, this determines whether that column will show up right here whenever you load this page. That's all that does. And if it doesn't, if you set it to is default on grid as no, and then you want to add it, you'll go over here to select columns, and then you can add that custom field that you want. So we actually have a number of custom fields that are selected here. If I wanted to add the UTM source, I would say, check this and then click apply. And then I can reorder them here if I want to as well. So that's what the is default on grid does. The inline editable. This determines if I can click on one of these and edit it right here in the grid. And so this particular one, source detail. This is inline editable. I can change it right here. This is a select box just like the one that we're creating now. And so if I said, this lead didn't come in from convert box, it came in from GoPin leads, I can change it right here and click that checkbox. If I don't have that property set, it's not going to let me do anything whenever I'm in here. So so I'm saying, like, if the country is not inline editable, what's in this particular one is, but basically it's not going to let you edit it right here on the grid. Personally, I like to do that. There's not a lot of instances where I wouldn't want to be able to edit something on the grid, so I tend to make those editable, especially if they're properties about people. So if we figure out that something's wrong, I would want to be able to change it. The other thing is sortable, which is again very similar. This is when you're looking at the grid. Can I click on one of these columns here and then sort by it? And if you say sortable is no, it won't let you do it. And I'm going to say, for the most part, I would recommend making them sortable unless it just makes absolutely no sense, because there's a pretty good chance where you might want to do that. So that's that. Is masked. This is what this means is that if you have sensitive data, or maybe something that you don't want everybody to see, maybe an actual street address, maybe you don't want people, maybe you don't want people to see people's last names. If you have sales reps, maybe you have social security numbers in here, or something like that, some sensitive bit of data, credit card numbers. Not saying that you should have any of those things, but those might be examples where you would want to mask the data, and you can secure that so only the administrators can see that data. So that's what that is. And then the is mass updatable. This is, so whenever you go back to your grid, which I'll do here, if I determined that a handful of these records are wrong, so let's say, for example, these exit pops right here, let's say these are not what I want them to be. I'm going to select these 4 records that are these exit pops, and I'm going to go over here to mass actions, and then I am going to go do a mass update. And only the ones that are defined as mass editable are going to show up here, only those fields. If something is not mass editable, like for example an email, I don't want to be mass editable because an email only one person can have, right? An address is probably something that I don't want to have mass editable, although you could have multiple people at the same address. It's really going to depend on what that attribute is, and if it's an affiliate, maybe you do want to make that mass editable because maybe we lose an affiliate in our program, and then we want to give all those leads to somebody else. Well, this would allow you to do that kind of in mass. And so I can go through any of these and I can say, okay, these now have a new status. These now have a new country. These now have a new whatever. I can pick the new status right here and I can click save, and it'll update all of those records in one pass. So that's what that property is. So in the example that I'm creating an affiliate name, I'm going to say is mass updatable is going to be a yes. I'm also going to say, is it sortable? Yes. Inline editable? Yes. Required is going to be a no because we could have leads that don't have affiliates, right? And I'm going to say is default on grid is yes because that's how I want to be able to see it. So this is how I'm going to set mine up, and then is published that determines whether it's actually available for people to use or not. So so this is exactly how I'm going to set mine up, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit save and close. You can also hit apply, and that'll leave the window open. But I'm going to hit save and close, and we're done. And whenever I do that, we now have a new entity that is now visible in our. We have a new field that's available in our entity. It's right here. It's called affiliate name. That's the name that I gave it. Here's its alias, and it's available for us to use. So now I can go back over here to a lead and hit cancel on this because I don't want to mass update these. And I'm going to go into one of my leads. And whenever I do that, I'm going to have a new field available. My new field available should be down here at the bottom. It's going to be under the attribution category because that's where I defined it. And I think I just went too far. So here it is, affiliate name. I'm going to go ahead and make another option here. And I'm going to say Bill is now an affiliate. I'm just going to go ahead and apply, leave that open, and then we'll go back over here and see if I'm now able to actually add that. Just refreshing to make sure that it pulls in the new properties that I just changed. There it is. It just took it a long time for that list to load. I think it's because Camtasia is using all the resources on my computer. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and pick one of my affiliates, and I'm going to hit my check mark, and now that affiliate is assigned to this lead. So this is the simple way to do it, and just a high-level overview of some of the properties about what how you might want to make that useful. And now that I've got that set, I can actually go back and then I can go back here to leads, and then we can see what is available to us. So you should now see this in the grid. So I'm still right up here at the top, and I did tell it to make this available, so it should be available in the grid. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down here. It's going to put it at the end because it's the last thing that I added. Here's my affiliate name. Affiliate name is Rob on this lead. And I can go into any one of these because I made this inline editable, and I can change it right here too. So I can pick this next record and then say this is Bob as well, and it'll do it that way. So this is the easy way to do it. The downside to this is that you can't really, like, if I wanted to store properties about Rob and Bob as affiliates, if I do it this way, I don't really have a way to do that. So if I wanted to take them and actually store their name and their address and payment details and whatever else that I might want to put in here about them, I can't really do that the way that I've just done it. And so there's going to be another way. That's going to be through linking entities. That might be a better way to do this, and so that's going to be a little bit more robust. Where I think what we'll probably do is link contacts and leads together, and we'll make sure that our contacts are our affiliates. And so that should be a pretty elegant way to kind of approach that same thing. And I'll do that in another video. But this should get you started, and go ahead and comment on this video if you like it, and subscribe to our channel, and let us know what you think.